Clara learned very early that love inside a home could be unequal. She was only 6 when she first noticed it. Not through words, but through silence. Her parents never shouted at her. They never beat her. They never said they didn't love her. They simply chose her sister every time. Her elder sister, Alina, was everything their parents admired: beautiful, confident, outspoken, brilliant at school. Teachers praised her. Relatives admired her. Neighbors compared their daughters to her and Clara. Clara was quiet. She listened more than she spoke. She felt deeply but expressed little. She preferred books over attention, silence over noise, observation over competition in her parents' eyes. That made her less. At breakfast, Elena's plate was always fuller. "Eat more, my princess," her mother would say, adding another spoon of eggs. When Clara reached for more, her father would comment casually enough, "Don't be greedy." When Elena brought home average grades, it was celebrated. She tried her best. Her parents smiled. When Clara brought home top scores, they barely looked up. "That's expected from you," her mother said. "You're not as social. At least study well." Clara learned something painful. Achievement only mattered when it came from the favorite child. When Clara turned 12, she won a regional art competition. Her painting, a soft, emotional depiction of a girl standing between two shadows, won first place. Her teacher called her parents personally. "You have a gifted daughter," the teacher said. Clara waited all evening, heart pounding. Certificate clutched tightly in her hands. Parents came home late. Alina burst through the door first. "I got selected for the school dance team," she announced. The house erupted. Clara stood silently, waiting. Her mother hugged Alina. Her father clapped proudly. Finally, Clara spoke in a small voice. I also have something." No one heard her. Dinner passed. Laughter filled the room. Her certificate remained folded in her lap, unnoticed. That night, Clara cried quietly into her pillow, not because she lost attention, but because she realized her happiness didn't matter unless it came second to Elena's. As years passed, the favoritism grew sharper. Alina received new clothes, phone outings with friends. Clara received hand-me-downs, lectures, and expectations. "You understand, right?" her mother often said. "Alina needs more support." Clara always nodded. She became the understanding child, the low-maintenance child, the child who never complained. Inside, something hardened. When Clara was 17, she was accepted into a prestigious university with partial scholarship. It was her dream, a way out. It's a chance to become someone beyond comparison. Her parents called a family meeting. Her father cleared his throat. "We've decided something important." Clara's heart raced. Alina also got accepted, her mother said. "But her university is expensive." Clara already knew what was coming. "We can't afford both," her father continued. "So we think it's better if you wait a year. Elena's opportunity is once in a lifetime." Clara felt the room tilt. "I have a scholarship," she whispered. "But not full," her mother replied. "And Alana, she needs this more. You're strong. You'll manage." There it was again. You'll manage. Those words were always reserved for Clara. She smiled politely and nodded inside. Something broke beyond repair. That night, Clara sat alone on the terrace, staring at the stars. She didn't feel anger. She felt clarity for the first time. She understood a brutal truth. Her parents would never choose her, no matter how good she was, no matter how much she sacrificed. And in that realization, it's a quiet promise, formed not loud, not dramatic, but terrifyingly calm. "I will stop waiting to be chosen," she whispered. "And one day, they will regret never seeing me." This wasn't hatred. This was self-preservation, turning into power. Clara folded her scholarship, letter carefully, and placed it inside a book. She wasn't done. She was just beginning. Clara did not cry the next morning. That surprised even her. She woke up early, folded her blanket neatly, and got ready for school as if nothing inside her had shifted. But something had changed, something permanent. The little hope that her parents might one day look at her the way they looked at Alina had finally died. And in its place, a quiet resolve took root. She would no longer live for approval that never came. Clara stayed home while Alina left for university. The house felt emptier. Yet somehow Clara felt smaller. Every phone call from Alina was celebrated. Alina got praised by her professor. Lena was invited to a party. Alina is doing so well. Clara listened silently, washing dishes, folding clothes, nodding when expected. No one asked how she was doing. She worked part-time at a small bookstore to save money, telling herself it was temporary. The owner, Mrs. Hale, noticed her discipline, her love for books, her thoughtful nature. "You don't belong behind a counter forever," Mrs. Hale said one day. "You observe too much. You think too deeply." Those words stayed with Clara longer than her parents' praise ever had, because they came from someone who actually saw her as months passed. Alina came home occasionally louder, bolder, more confident. She talked endlessly about her life, her friends, her plans. Clara listened. One evening, Alina laughed and said casually, "You're lucky, you know. You don't have pressure like me." Clara looked at her calmly. "I had pressure," she replied. "It just didn't matter enough to anyone." Lena frowned. "Why are you being dramatic?" That word again, dramatic. Clara realized something important. Alina wasn't cruel. She was simply unaware. Protected by love Clara never received, and that ignorance hurt just as much. One afternoon, a letter arrived for Clara. It was from the same university she had been accepted into a year earlier. They were offering her a full scholarship. Clara's hands shook as she read it. This time, she didn't rush to show her parents. She sat on her bed, letter in hand, heart pounding. She asked herself one question: do I still need their permission to live my life? The answer came quietly but firmly: no. That evening, she informed them, not asked. "I'm leaving next month," she said. "I got a full scholarship." Her parents were surprised. Her mother hesitated. "But Alina, I know," Clara interrupted gently. "That's why I waited once. I won't wait again." Her father studied her face. Something in her eyes made him uncomfortable. "You've changed," he said. Clara smiled faintly. "Yes, I had to." University life was hard but honest. No one compared her. No one overlooked her. Her professors noticed her brilliance. Her classmates respected her quiet strength. Clara thrived not loudly, not dramatically, but steadily. She earned awards. She published articles. She built connections, and she did it all without calling home. Weeks passed. Then months. Her parents realized they knew nothing about her life anymore. One evening, Clara's mother called. "You never tell us anything," she said. Hurt in her voice, Clara paused. "You never asked," she replied softly. Silence filled the line for the first time. Her parents felt it: the distance, the coldness, the absence, and it scared them. Late at night, Clara sat by her dorm window. City lights reflecting in her eyes. She wasn't angry anymore. She was focused. Her revenge wasn't screaming. It wasn't confrontation. It was becoming so complete without them that their favoritism would one day feel like a mistake they could never undo. She whispered the promise, again stronger. "Now, I will become someone you cannot ignore. Not to punish you, but so you finally understand what you lost." Success did not arrive in Clara's life like thunder. It arrived like dawn, quiet, steady, undeniable. By her third year at university, Clara had become someone people noticed without her asking. Professors mentioned her name with respect. Students came to her for guidance. Her writing was published in respected journals. Her research praised for its depth and originality. And yet, at home, her parents still spoke mostly of Alina. Until the day they couldn't anymore. It happened at a family gathering. An aunt mentioned casually, "Did you hear? Clara's article was featured in an international magazine." The room fell silent. Her mother looked up sharply. "What article?" Her father frowned. "What magazine?" No one had told them. They hadn't known because Clara hadn't shared, because they hadn't asked. For the first time, embarrassment touched them not in front of strangers, but inside their own hearts they realized something painful. Their unnoticed daughter was becoming visible to the world. Alina returned home that summer, confident but tired. University life hadn't been easy. Competition was fierce, and for the first time in her life, she wasn't the brightest person in the room. She noticed the change immediately. Neighbors asked, "How is Clara doing?" Relatives said, "We hear Clara is doing amazing things." Alina smiled politely, but something inside her tightened. She found Clara's social profile one night and scrolled. Silently .awards, achievements, recognition, .things. Alina had never had to fight for until now, for the first time. Alina felt what Clara had lived with her entire life. Comparison, and it unsettled her. One evening, Clara received a call from her father. "Clara," he said carefully, "why didn't you tell us about your success?" Clara paused. "I didn't think it mattered," she replied. The words weren't angry, they were honest. Her father felt them land like a blow. "We're proud of you," he said. Too late, too unsure, Clara smiled to herself. Pride spoken after neglect doesn't heal wounds. It only reveals them. Months later, Clara was invited to speak at a national conference, one that would be covered by media. Her university encouraged her parents to attend. Her mother cried when she received the invitation. "We must go," she said urgently. Her father nodded. "We must." They wanted to see her. They wanted to reclaim her. They wanted to feel like parents again. Clara stood on stage calm, confident, radiant. Her voice carried strength built from years of silence. She spoke about resilience, about invisible children, about how neglect shapes ambition. Her parents sat, frozen in the audience. Every word felt personal when Clara said, "Sometimes the child you ignore becomes the strongest one, not because you help them, but because they had no choice." Her mother broke down. Her father lowered his head. Alina couldn't breathe. They finally saw it. They had chosen wrong, not by loving Alina more, but by loving Clara less. After the event, her parents rushed to her. Her mother hugged her tightly. "We are so proud of you," she sobbed. "We were blind. Please forgive us." Clara gently stepped back. "I don't hate you," she said softly, "but I don't need forgiveness either." Her parents looked confused. "You made your choices," Clara continued. "I made mine. I built my life without being chosen. That is my strength now." Alina stood nearby, silent, finally understanding the weight of what she had unknowingly received and what Clara had been denied. That night, Clara returned to her hotel room alone. She didn't feel victory. She felt peace. Her revenge wasn't rejection. It wasn't anger. It wasn't punishment. It was truth revealed too. Late to undo the past, and that truth would stay with them. Forever, Clara returned to her life after the conference without drama. No celebrations. No long calls home. No emotional reunions. Just forward movement. That, more than anything else, unsettled her parents. They had finally seen her, but she no longer needed to be seen at home. The house felt different. Alina noticed it first. Her parents spoke less about her achievements now. They asked about Clara more, where she lived, what she did, what she wanted, but they didn't have answers. Because Clara had built a life beyond their reach. Her mother often sat with Clara's childhood photos, tears slipping silently. "She needed us," she whispered one evening, "and we were busy choosing." Her father said nothing. His regret lived in his posture, in the way he stared too long at doors Clara no longer walked through. One night, Alina called Clara. Her voice was quiet, stripped of confidence. "I didn't know," Alina said. "I swear, I didn't know how much they hurt you." Clara listened patiently. "I know," she replied. "You weren't cruel. You were protected." Lena swallowed hard. "I'm sorry I never noticed." Clara closed her eyes. "That's the thing," she said softly. "The favorite child never has to notice." The line went silent. It was not an accusation. It was a truth. Weeks later, Clara's parents visited her unannounced. They stood awkwardly in her small but warm apartment surrounded by books. Awards, proof of a life built without them. "We want to make things right," her father said. "Come home. We will treat you equally. We promise." Clara looked at them calmly. "I believe you mean it," she said. "But I don't need it anymore." Her mother's voice cracked. "Don't you want us now?" Clara paused. "I wanted you when I was a child," she replied gently. "Now I want myself." Clara didn't cut them off. She didn't punish them. She didn't humiliate them. She simply didn't return to the role. They had written for her. She visited sometimes. She called occasionally. She loved them from a distance. But she never shrank again. And that was the hardest lesson for them to learn, because the child they never chose had grown into a woman who no longer needed to be chosen at all. One evening, Clara stood by her window. Watching the city glow beneath her dot, she remembered the little girl who waited for praise that never came. She smiled, sadly and proudly. Her revenge was not destruction. It was independence. It was self-worth built without permission, that it was becoming whole in a place where she was once invisible and somewhere far away. Her parents lived with a truth they could never change. The child you overlook may forgive you, but they will never be yours in the same way again.